something that I saw over the weekend that allowed me to get a firsthand view of Kirby Smart and UGA and how they've put some of this together. When people talk about recruiting, I think one word that doesn't get used enough is relentless. Being relentless. How relentless are you? How bad do you want it? So I got a firsthand view of Kirby Smart being relentless this weekend as he spoke at the Born to Compete Youth Football Gala in Atlanta. Shout out to Alex Benson. He's been a guest on the show who allowed me an opportunity to help present the award for Defensive Player of the Year in the state of Georgia in youth football. So we're talking about Kirby Smart being in a room full of maybe 5-year-olds to 14-year-olds, right? And he lays out this fiery speech, almost sounding like a Southern Baptist preacher where he's praising the parents, telling the kids to be grateful. Even one time he's like, hey, I never, and even talking to kids who feel like they may not be playing enough or have an issue with their coaches on a youth level. Kirby Smart is saying, hey, when I recruit guys, I never ask how many yards they had in 7th grade. I never asked how many touchdowns they scored when they were playing 10 and under. And the parents are just looking like, this is Kirby Smart. Fresh off a back-to-back national championship, he could be in the office looking at what guys he's going to offer after the dead period ends. He could be anywhere, but he chose to be at the Born to Compete Gala. And that lets me know that he's planting seeds in the state of Georgia, that Georgia is where you want to be from as young as 5 to as old as 14. And that lets me know that Georgia is relentless when it comes to recruiting. And I really feel like you're going to have to be I don't think there's anybody in college football at a head coaching level that's going to be relentless at that age as Kirby Smart. So you got a guy like Nick Saban, who's also relentless, but Nick Saban is, he's had his time. He's been there already. There's Nick Saban is still Nick Saban. Like, they just had the #1 class. Like, let's not get it twisted. But what I will say now, in the next 2-3 years, is Nick Saban going to be able to, just based on the fact of his age, will he be able to keep up with Kirby Smart on the recruiting trail? Because Kirby is out on a Sunday just, hey, recruiting. Now, not talking to kids face-to-face, no violations being broken, but what I will say is that for him to take that type of time and deliver that type of speech and motivate the youth, the top of the top youth athletes in Georgia, planting that seed at this time, I said, man, that's a stroke of genius. And previously, you've heard coaches that skip out on high school conventions. You hear about coaches who don't hit certain charity events. They don't have time and they'd rather be focusing on ball or whatever. Kirby Smart just changed offensive coordinators. Kirby Smart has a brand new quarterback that'll be starting. He loses Stetson Bennett, and he still found time in order to get out there and recruit. And I say recruit indirectly, but to show his face and push the brand. So I thought that was huge. So man, shout out to them. Shout out to Kirby. Shout out to UGA, because I was able to see firsthand part of the reason why they've been so successful and why they may be on the verge of a historic run.